Yo, yo.
Preem, is this you?
Yeah, that's me.
We got Preem on the line, chat. Fire in the chat for DJ Preem. We're just giving you your flowers so hard today. Bro, we are 2.5 hours into the stream. I feel like we barely scratched the surface, my man.
Yeah, I was watching it, man. I seen you breaking down the group home, and I'm the man from the Gangstar record and how we introduced the foundation and everything. And speaking of that, be on the lookout. Me and Big Shook did a whole album together called Undefeated. It was something that we had been planning to do just through the whole Gangstar career, where I produced the entire album, even though I've been on all of his past projects. So since he's the co-founder of Gangstar with Guru, it was just something that we wanted to make special for the fans. And we're just mixing the album down. Of course, the Nas album is almost done, and look out for the NYGs. I produced that entire album too, which is overdue. But it's right and exact and just dope. Look out for Rock Marciano project, Ransom. I'm just staying busy doing a lot of stuff, and but Suge and I wanted to drop a single coming up soon called Gangstar Foundation, where he explains how that whole thing developed from Guru's idea to put Suge, Group Home, and J. Rue as the Gangstar Foundation, and that's actually how it was built, which is why they really are the original three, artists to come out. And the record breaks it down, and we're going to shoot a video to make it really come together nice with all the old footage from way back. Because I've been filming my career since '88, and thank goodness I've saved all the videotapes, and we have all this so old footage when Dap and them were, young and still just getting their feet wet. So there's going to be a whole bunch of music that I'm going to continue to put out, which has always been my job and passion. And then, of course, getting ready to rock your Bastid's barbecue up in Toronto.
July 26th, man. People cannot wait. Like, Toronto is ready. Preem, you've always blessed Toronto. You've been coming here for years. What was the first time you came to Toronto? Do you remember?
Ooh.
Damn.
It had to be '90 when Step in the Arena was out, and I think I don't know if it was in Toronto, but I think it was when I met Russell Peters, and
who's also on the bill.
Him.
Yeah, he's on the bill too.
Yeah, shout to Russie, because he calls me Chrissy, which everybody knows Chris was my real name. So Russell will go, "Hi, Chrissy," and I'll go, "Hey, Russie," So that's our little inside joke, but. When I did this gig, the mixer was broken at the gig, and they put an Allen and Heath mixer in place of it, and Russell was on the stage trying to tell me how to work. I don't know if it was like the Q switch or something of that nature, but he's like, "Hey, that's the switch right there." And he said I looked at him with the laser beam evil eyes and said, "I know that." It'd be different if as DJs is different.
Yeah.
If I was actually "Hey man, where's the Q knob?" or whatever, that's different. But he said it without me asking where it is while they were still wiring it up, and so that we could start the show. And he said, I just said, "I know that," but he said with an evil look and a growl. So, I could see me being that way, because at that time it was like, don't ever tell a DJ how to work any mixer, especially back then. We could figure it out, but it was an Allen Heath mixer, and I did know where the Q switch was. So, hey, Russie. Yeah, man. And that's how we actually reconnected, because he was like, "Yo, I was the guy that said that." And I was like, "Damn, I remember that." Because I was just like, I'm already having a problem with holding up the show. And back then, you didn't have a guy who could set your turntables up for you so that you could walk on stage, where now, shout out to my man Neff. He sets it up. Shout out to Big Black from the Gangstar Foundation, or even Keith. They've always set it up for me. Or even even Jim Craig. We have people that set it up before I take the stage, so I don't have to go there and tweak everything.
Yep.
And now, we're at that stage of our career with and back then you had to lug your own turntables, which I did. Now you just send a rider and the equipment's already there when you get there.
Yep, we'll have it all set up for you. 2 1200s and an Allen and Heath. Can't wait to have you rock Toronto Bass's Bar.
Hey, I don't know that.
I might have one back.
S9. I'm still on an old MacBook Pro. That motherfucker does what I tell it to do, all right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, well, you've always made the gear. It's always like we were talking about that, just how you took next to nothing and made magic out of it, Preem. Like, and it almost progressed. I watched it progress through the different samplers you use up until plugins and little sounds and different things. You've always taken like a little bit and made the most out of it, I feel.
That's what shout out to Young Guru, who's down with the whole Rock Nation, and he's a tech wizard as well, and he was doing an explanation about different producers and their styles, and when he got to me, he goes, Preem will take something like, and he's gonna make a classic. I was like, yeah, for Can't Stop the Prophet. But just the fact that he said I could turn a little piece into a whole different classic was dope. That he studied my process, and it's not always like that. Obviously, I do
no.
well,
Yeah. I mean, if we're kind of on step in the arena now, and even songs like "Take a Rest" is a highly layered and complex beat, man. You're using a lot of pieces, But something like "Can't Stop the Prophet" or "Living Proof." Or Bust Your Shit is like next to nothing, bro. Next to nothing.
Thank you.
And
for all of you out there, when I got that 45, me and Showbiz had bought this old guy's record store that was moving down south, and we just split all the records up and just say, you take half of that room, I'll take half of this room, and that record was in there with I got some, and now I think because of the strength of BYS, that record is now available, even if it's a bootleg 45.
Yep.
A lot of people have it now.
Yep.
And so now it's way more expensive than when I got it for free.
That's like a $500 record or something. Heavy funk.
Oh yeah.
But we're tripping off how you caught that loop like that, because it sometimes people are like, oh, I know the sample, but it ain't always just knowing the sample. It's about how you hook it up, bro.
It's how you hook it up, and the rhyme style true, so recipe to Guru. But yeah, it's always been me learning from what Marley Marl has done, what Larry Smith has done, Jazzy J, Rick Rubin, the Bomb Squad, Dre, Law Professor P. All of us hung around when Diamond D, Showbiz, Havoc, Knots. There's so many people I'm just a huge fan of, and the way that they, just break their records down, and I'm just another piece of that where I'm just not considered biting. As long as there's no biting going on, you got to come up with your own style, and then me being a DJ, I think adds to it. I think DJs that also make beats should be a little more advanced because of the fact that we have a DJ mentality. We make it really for people to spin the records when we put them out. So I'm always thinking of the DJ, and then I scratch all the time because hearing Run DMC records and PE and like I said, all the West Coast stuff, and everybody scratching in the hooks. I was like, or even scratching the line. I was like, wow, I want to do that where people say, man, I love the way Preem scratches. So I do it mainly for the DJs, but also for just pure fans that love scratching on records. So I just saw an interview on Drink Champs where RZA was talking about, I have a formula, and he said one of it is the fact that I scratch on every single record that comes out. I may miss one or two that I don't have a scratch, or maybe it just has a like
little baby scratch.
Street Ministry. Street Ministry, when it's fading, you hear it go, and that's it. But there was a scratch on it,
Yeah, just a little something. Sometimes it's just a baby scratch, but that's what makes it raw. Like when I'm teaching, people, like, someone asking about how do I start scratching, I tell them to start at the beginning, and hip hop started with cutting up break beats. So inherently, that baby scratch is the first scratch. You should learn how to bring a break in on beat. And if you're just doing a little rub scratch, the bum, sometimes that's all it takes to make it a hip hop feel. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just a little bit. And we were talking about the 10 Crack Commandments thing. There's something about the way that sample, the way you can scratch that sample, that it just sounds so hip hop. Just to scratch that little.
Yeah, hey, I'm always in creative mode. Again, I think that's a DJ thing. It all derives from just thinking like a DJ, and I think when you do that, it comes out better because your mind is thinking about how DJs will process enjoying it. And I'm always wanting to, nothing to take away from MCs because they understand scratching as well, but I've always done it so the DJs will go, oh man, you hear what he cut, or damn, look how he broke that down. That's why I remember when DJ Skratch did the On a Rampage from the Symphony on G-Rap's line. I made sure I could do the on the ramp. I was like, until I know how to do that, I'm gonna practice until I master it, and then that way, say like once I learned that rub and that scratch, say a record like The Enemy with Big L and then Fat Joe, God bless Big L. When I do the sit back, that's not biting. That's just taking a little piece of what Skratch did and incorporating it, but still showing.
It's a technique, but you rocked it with your own sample. There's only so many scratch techniques, and then we can apply it to whatever sample, and that's like the flavor that you could add your own flavor to it, and it's always going to sound a bit different. I mean, Skratch did that with Ladies and Gentlemen, right? Like Ladies and Gentlemen, right? Something like that. But then he did it quicker on the Rampage. It's just bringing the record back and forth, but it's choosing the right sample, and we salute that heavy. Do you, Freem? I gotta ask you, do you have like a scratch that you're most proud of, or like a scratch chorus that you're most proud of, or that people hail you up the most, or how do you feel about it? Because I know you're always pushing yourself to contribute the most. Of course we have DJ Premier and Deep Concentration is kind of like, I would say, your first sort of DJ showcase track.
Yeah.
But do you have?
I would say that one because back then every DJ in the 80s going into the 90s had a DJ record, from Eric B to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and everyone. Terminator X Speaks with His Hands, and Mo Love's theme from Ultra, and just everybody had a DJ record. So I wanted to do one that didn't sound like everybody else's, but still, even Jam Master Jay, everybody had a record that was just a DJ record of cutting and scratching, and I just wanted to do the same thing without being a biter and still contributing to a unique DJ record, and it did well for us when we made our debut. I got to shout Slow-Mo Sonnenfeld, who was our engineer, and where we did our first Gangsta album, who just recently passed away 2.5 weeks ago. He passed away in Israel, and it's so crazy, man. I posted an old clip of me in Israel with him from 2.5 years ago, and everybody's screaming on the comments and being so foul, and I don't reply to comments. If somebody puts, "Hey, where can I buy that shirt?" or "Is that really you on such and such?" Then I'll reply. But anything negative, like talking about, "Oh man, he's a Zionist," I'm like, yo, I'm saluting a guy that passed away that was part of my gangster career. And you're
absolutely
popping shit, and most of them are usually private, so you can't see them anyway. No. And I don't trip, but it's like, they're like, "How could you?" and free Gaza, and I'm like, yo, man, we're not here about to talk about war. We love everybody everywhere in the world, Gaza, Israel, to Russia, America, to Canada, everywhere. We love everybody. The war and people dying everywhere is not cool anywhere. So let's remove that shit, and let me salute a great man who was a part of the reason why Gangstar even exists, instead of you popping shit on my page. But again, we know a lot of people ain't happy with themselves.
Yeah,
so
and they just need something to feel alive and feel seen, even if it's bad. And I feel like the temperature online is hotter than it's been in a long time. And it's just like, it's people can say whatever they want. I do the same, Preem. I'm quick to delete or block somebody if I don't feel like it's bringing anything to my page. And someone like you, bro, the amount that you've brought to the world, and we're trying to concentrate on all these highlights. Please continue. Please don't let any of that.
Oh yeah, I remember they had bombings in Turkey years ago, and I had a gig already booked, and the promoters were like, "Hey, I know you might be scared. Do you want to still come?" I was like, "Are people gonna come out?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "It's gonna be so." He said, "It's sold out." I'm like, "Then I'm gonna go." Everybody's like, "Oh, don't go. What if you get bombed?" And when we get out there for sound check, there were little kids that were not even teenagers yet waiting for me, and they said, "Are you gonna do the show?" And I said, "Yeah, that's why I just flew from New York." And they said, "We're gonna come have fun." And they said, "The bombing is right over there." I'm like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, but we're not scared because we love God and we love music, and we're so happy you weren't afraid to come." And man, it was all these little kids in the front row, and it was sold out, and they just jumped up and down, and that let me know music is that much of a healing force, because they didn't care about anything. Even though a lot of people lost their lives, the music made them be happy for once, and that showed me that it was meant to be, and just to keep putting music out, because music heals everything.
Absolutely, and you do it, bro. You do it. You've contributed so much. If we go back to DJ Premier Deep Concentration, you said you got the new New York NYGs coming out, Big Suge, the Rock Marciano, and the Nas album. We got a lot of Primo coming out in the next little bit.
Ransom, shout to Ransom, Ransom Project. It's gonna be very busy, yeah, man. So you know me, I'm nonstop. I'm always having everything ready to go. So I released my 45s, which I just released a set of 45s.
Yep.
Of the Rock Marciano single, yep. The You Don't Stop with Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, and Big Sean, and the Rust 12-inch for oh man.
The Rust joint.
Yeah, the Rust single, and just I'm about to readjust the Gangstar site. We're about to update it to make it really, really, really well oiled, and then I'm about to do a heavy merch thing on my Premiere Vinyl website. So everything is being put together this very minute, and you'll see the updates coming by next month. So stay tuned.
We are,
and we're going to just keep making sure that our fan base has things that cater to what we love in our fan base, and just focus on our fan base. That's it.
Yep, and we will continue to amplify that, my brother. We appreciate you very, very much. We play your joints all the time. I think the last record of the week was the Runway joint with Rome Streets and West Saigon. Love that 12-inch. We Woo! Crazy record.
500 copies sold out in 20 minutes. I was like, what the fuck?
I got two of them. So, yeah.
And that's the thing. Man, I have people even commenting on the 45, like $55 for a 45. That's too much. It's like, so don't buy it. I know if I wanted something and it's $55 and I really want it, I'm gonna buy it. I'm not gonna complain. I don't care but shit, records are going for $100 for a limited edition, and I'll buy that too. Yep. And it's not because I'm rich or anything like that. I want what I want to be a collector of something that's great, that's physically in my hand for the rest of my life. So
yep.
I don't even reply to stuff like that.
No, don't. I wouldn't trip on that. And again, people just want something to say. But listen, I know that money is going towards the artists as well, and supporting and supporting
Absolutely.
people. There's only so many ways that artists can earn money, and merchandise is one of them. So I think that people that know when I pay for something like that, I'm like, okay, cool. I know it's going closer to the artist than I can get to most of the time. If you're pushing it, I know it's going towards you. So. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
I was asking my niece. I asked my niece, who's a Beyonce fanatic. I was like, how much did you pay for the tickets? She said $500 a pop. I was like, yeah. I said, were you upset at the price? She goes, no. She said she does a $5,000 show. She said, so she said, you get your money's worth. So she said, I didn't care about it being $500 for a ticket, and they had banging seats, So, and that's at a stadium. Stadiums are very iffy on where you're positioned to enjoy a stadium concert, because the stage is so far away unless you're on the floor. But she said she had a great time. I just spoke to her about it Monday, and I said, was it worth the $500 per ticket? She said, absolutely. She said, not only did we have good seats, we were lower level, and you could see everything where you could enjoy it. And she said it was way worth more if you're a fan like I am, and my niece loves Beyonce, so good for her.
Yep.
And I'm glad that everything worked out.
And
like I said, no one's complaining.
That's it. They're not complaining about that. It's an interesting thing. I think sometimes it comes back to status. And just because we're underground hip hop or hip hop doesn't mean you shouldn't try to give us $500 too. I mean, 50. We're just asking for 1/10 of that.
Yeah.
But
just give me a good show.
Yeah,
just give me a good show.
Hell yeah. So support the artists, and we will continue. As soon as your records drop, Preem, we will let people know. People on Twitch are asking when you're getting back on Twitch. Do you ever want to get back on Twitch? We loved your streams.
Yeah, I've been working on that because, after we left Shade 45, big up to everybody over there. Shout out to Eminem and Paul Rosenberg for having us take over when we used to be on Hip Hop Nation that serious. And then when they stopped doing, they said only mainstream rap. And Paul and Eminem said, come over to us and do it the way you do it, no rules, no nothing. And it was instant, and we appreciate the time we had there. And now we're just figuring out, we moved out of the studio that we were there for the last 10 years at Kaufman. So when the pandemic hit and we had to start doing it and pre-recording it, which we wanted to go live, we had to pre-record, but we would still pre-record the day before so that it was brand new the day that it aired, and we still kept the same time frame. So now I'm setting up a few different things I want to do live. I want to do a thing called Major Impact, where I talk about people who had a major impact on my life, from people like Geddy Lee and Alex Lyson and recipes to Neil Peart from Rush, where I can interview them and see if I can get Bono from U2 or Sting, but then talk to Full Force and then talk to not Howie T. God bless him, he's not doing well, and he's one of my mentors as well. But people on that level, singers, Steve Perry from Journey, and then talk to Smokey Robinson, just different people, and get and a understanding of the major impact they've had on our lives. Stevie Wonder and on and on and on, and DJs and just MCs and dancers, all kinds of things. And I want to start that new series. I'm actually about to shoot a new episode of So What's Up. I know we kind of start, but we've been so busy, and recording is my favorite thing. So recording is such a time-consuming thing, and like I said, Nas and I are trying to finish up so we can get this thing ready to launch, and we just keep doing more new songs, and every time we do another new record, we're like, well, do we pull this one? He's like, nah, let's keep it. And should we pull this one? Damn, I like that one too. No, we're keeping it, and we just keep making records, but they're all coming out so dope.
Wow.
It sounds like first of all, we know the pressure's on us to give everybody what they're hoping it's going to sound like. I've seen even comments on that. They took too long. It's not going to be what we've been waiting for. Good. I'm glad we don't need you anyway. But the ones that are really feeding for this, including me and him, we're feeding to get it out to the people. So we are rocking. We're in a great place, and we're excited about the records we're making for this album. We don't even have a title yet for the album yet. We're like, let's just keep making the records and get them ready to pull that trigger.
We can't wait to hear it, and of course, full support from over here, Preem. Man, thank you so much for taking this call. They're not going to believe me when I tell them this wasn't planned, but I told them that if they gave enough support,
it wasn't. I saw your text just now, and I'm downstairs mixing right now, so mixing Nas records. So I said, okay, call me, and so this was not planned.
Well, thank you very much, and get right back to that mixing. We can't wait to hear it. We can't wait to see you July 26th at the barbecue, and we're gonna keep this thing flowing right here. So thank you for taking the time to say hello. Anything else you want to say to the Twitch crew out there?
Keep on supporting, the good shit that we love. Thank y'all for supporting me and my entire career and everything that I continue to do. And then I got to come up with a nice set since Skratch Bastid is killing it. I got to top that. So.
Well, we can't wait to hear it. You've always shut down the barbecues.
I'll be ready.
All right. We'll see you.
Like Big Daddy Kane said, I'm ready. All right.
All right, Preem, one love. Peace, brother. Right, thank you.
Peace.
DJ Premier. Premier. Fire in the chat, TMC crew, Twitch crew. Fire in the chat. You did that. You pushed Preem on the phone. I don't even know. I hope it was cool just to put I put the speakerphone up to the mic and hear more fire in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let's go. You did that. All the subs. Sweet Touch Foundation, Stagface Ace. Oh my God. Oh my God. Light it up now. DJ Premier, what in the hell? There's only one. He took time out of his day for us.
Here's a little story that must be told. Here's a little story that must
Ray Wonder did that.
Must be
You're welcome.
Be told. DJ Premier's in concentration.
The Gap did that.
DJ Premier's in concentration.
Max Mishka did that. Wildcard did that. I've no doubt. Loco Ocho, Skratch Bastid, Gingerbeard, J-Class Dookie Ball. Y'all did that. Nate Master Black, you did that. Hype train rolling! Can we hear your funky fresh scratching again? Can we hear your funky fresh scratching again? Can we hear your funky fresh scratching again?
Is in deep concentration. Deep concentration. DJ is in deep concentration. Deep concentration. DJ is in deep concentration. Deep concentration. DJ is in deep concentration. We out of here. 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 Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on.
DJ Premier in deep concentration off the album No More Mr. Nice Guy. Primo said it was one of his proudest tracks. He was very proud of that track, the last track on side A. And I would agree that is an iconic piece of DJ history. DJ Premier in deep concentration. Thank you. This is going right here. Primo. Can we keep the Love Fest going? Speaking of Love Fest, Gaff with the bits, Wildcard, J-Class, Will Ray, DJ Tank.